10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 481. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 481 of the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. Today we're finishing up our series on this how to supercharge your scale practice, which, it was the wrong name. You can't win them all. This was the wrong name for this series, but I chose it and I had to stick with it. So what we're doing this week has nothing to do with scales. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to take some of these rhythms that we've gone over in the past 3 episodes, and we are going to put them over a real life tune and practice hearing it in context, because I did get some questions from people that were like, okay, so this stuff is cool, but how does it actually apply to my soloing? Well, we're going to get into that today. Let you hear some of the sounds that result in being able to play this stuff. So let's talk about it for a second first. I think the biggest thing that this stuff does is if you commit yourself to playing a rhythm, one of these rhythms, and you're improvising over a form in 4/4, what it really does is it confronts you with the fact that there's so much that you do that's pre-programmed. And as soon as you have to play, like for instance, this repeating 3/4 rhythm in 4/4 over an actual form, you start to realize like, wow, what I play is really worked out. And this completely turns things on its head. Completely. It makes you feel like you're starting over again, which is really cool because it sort of like makes you question everything and like, wait, how am I actually approaching this? Can I have freedom with rhythm, or does that get me completely lost? And if I want to do something interesting, like a polyrhythm, right, 3/4, can I actually do that? And I remember when I first started working on this stuff, it was like, no, I cannot. So I committed to working on this stuff a lot. So let's go over a couple of examples. So let's start with the first episode that we did, episode 478. And we're going to take the rhythm, the second rhythm off of that. So basically, it's the 3/4 rhythm, 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3. But we're going to put that over 4/4, 2, 3. Da 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 do da da da. And what we're going to do, or what I'm going to give you an example of, is we're going to go to our old friend, the blues, which is, my favorite way to experiment with anything is to put it over the blues, because it's just such a essential form, and it's one that I've played over thousands of times. So I just always reach for the blues when I'm trying to take a new concept and actually apply it over a chord progression. So what I'll do is I'll actually take this rhythm and I'll say, okay, you're going to play it over the blues. And one thing that I think could make it easier for you guys is not to play it continuously for all 12 bars, because that could be really, really difficult to do if you've never done something like this before. So what I'll do is I'll take 3 bars and I'll play it at the beginning of each 4-bar phrase. So I'll go do ba da da, do ba da da, do ba da da, do ba da da, and then I'll rest for a bar. Get ready. Do ba da da, do ba da da, do ba da da, do ba da da, and then I'll rest again. Get ready for the last 4. Do ba da da, and I'll do it like that. So my brain does get a break from it. I get a chance to collect myself at the end of every 4 bars. Okay, let's hear what that sounds like over a blues. So you hear it just kind of like flips everything on its head, right? Because you might never, ever, ever naturally think to do that. But if you sort of force yourself into doing it, you could start to hear like all these new sounds, all these different ways of playing over a set of changes where you would just like sort of fall into what you did before. Now, it's interesting because the way that the rhythms cross the bar line, you really have to think about notes. So what's super interesting is that sometimes working on our rhythm is the best thing we can ever do to square away our note choice, which seems kind of backwards, right? Well, if I'm working on rhythm, I'm working on rhythm. But now you have to figure out how within that rhythm, what notes you're going to play. And you hear me hesitating. In these recordings, you'll hear me hesitating quite often because I have to figure out, wait a second, where am I in the form again? What do I want to hear? What chord is happening now? Where's the bar line? These are all really good things for flexibility, for our ability to be as free as possible with where we put our notes and our rhythms. Okay, so let's go to the second example from the episode 479 worksheet. So remember, this was 3/4 plus 2/4. So I'm going to go to this rhythm. Da ba do da da ba da da ba do da do ba da. Now I get a bar and a half off. 2, 3, 4. Da ba do da da ba da da ba do da da ba da. And then I get a bar and a half off, and then I do one more phrase. Let's hear what that sounds like over the blues. That one's a butt kicker, right? It's kind of unnatural, but in the best way possible, because I want to force myself to feel a little bit unnatural so that unnatural things start to feel natural. That's kind of the whole point of this. All right, let's do one more example from last week. We're going to do the second example from episode 480 worksheet. And what this is 5/8. 5/8 over 4/4. So now what I'm doing is 4/8 notes followed by an eighth note rest, right? Do bo do dot, bo do bo dot, do bo do dot, bo do bo dot. 3, 4, whole bar of rest. And do bo do dot, bo do bo dot, do bo do dot, bo do bo dot. And actually, this is the most natural one for me. So I think you'll hear on this one that I'm the most comfortable out of any of these rhythms. Let's hear what this sounds like over a couple choruses. That one's kind of nice, isn't it? Because we're basically just like shifting everything over, if that makes sense. It's that rest combined with the 4 notes and 1 eighth note of rest has such a cool effect. It really just results in free syncopation. And that's that's one of my favorite sounds. So I work on stuff like that a lot. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give all the Patreon members a couple of tracks so that we can trade fours with a couple of these rhythms so that you can get used to it. But I hope you realize that possibilities with this are kind of endless, right? We're just doing one iteration of it in a particular way over a particular tune. But if you're ever looking for different and new paths through tunes that you feel like, what you're playing over is kind of tired, this is a great way to do it. So the Patreon members will get a couple of trading tracks to dive in and start doing this. So if you want to get your hands on all the materials, all the supporting materials from this episode, we are a listener-supported podcast, which means we don't do any kind of advertisements on the show. Instead, we rely on the people getting the benefits out of this stuff, you, the jazz student, to support us and keep this thing going. We do that through the Patreon platform in the form of a very small monthly donation. In return for that donation, you do get worksheets and practice tracks and all kinds of amazing stuff with every single episode. You also get access to our entire back catalog. So you can learn more about that and get yourself signed up for instant access to everything by going to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, and clicking on one of the Patreon banners, or you can go to patreon.com and you could search for the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson. You will see all of the stuff over there, the different donation levels, and all the information on what you get. Thank you so much if you choose to do that. That's really a big deal. Again, that's how we keep these shows coming out. And of course, to everybody over there supporting us, thank you. We could not do this without you. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this series, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye.